Welcome, everybody, to yet another Blue Jay Center podcast brought to you by the Sick Podcast Network. I'm James Price, along with Cole Whiston, and boy, we have some beauty topics to talk about. One not so great in Bo Bichette update that just dropped today. If you haven't heard, we'll get into that. Who would be an idiot not to talk about Trey Yesavage's debut last night, and of course, we'll talk about the race in the AL East. Lots of great stuff to talk about, and it all starts right now.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Blue Jays Center.
Bautista drives it deep left field. Gone!
The sickest Toronto Blue Jays podcast. It's gonna be sick.
All right, so Cole, I was ready to come on here, as we both were, and ready to just glowingly talk about Trey Yesavage. Now, we're going
Which we will. Yeah, which we will.
We definitely will. But there's been an update on Bo Bichette. We all knew he was down in Dallas getting a second opinion, which we all cringed when we heard that. And it's kind of what we expected. Now, the good news is, at least from Morosi, that sounds like it's not all that bad, but he has been ruled out for the rest of the regular season, which, again, it's 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Like a week and a half?
Yeah,
So,
12 games, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, makes sense. Look where the Blue Jays are in the standings. Do you need to rush him back to get games in right now? No. You want him back for game one. And once you start getting ruled out of ALDS games, then that's when we start worrying. But, Cole, how we doing, bud? How we feeling?
Just like you said, going into today, after the game last night, it very much felt like we were headed in the wrong direction with Bo Bichette, and kind of a direction that we weren't expecting to even be heading towards. Before the broadcast yesterday, I would say that the majority of people were under the assumption that Bo Bichette was going to be back after he was eligible to be back. I think that was what most people's assumption was. And then going into the broadcast, news started to float around social media and Blue Jays Twitter, and then obviously the broadcast confirmed it, that, it's actually more serious than what we originally thought. So he's going to get a second opinion. At that point, the conversation then shifted towards, you look at the IKF podcast on the Deep Left Field podcast, he has that quote where it's like, we just hope we make a deep enough run in the postseason for Bo to come back. And it's like, what?
Hold on.
What? You don't just walk over that comment, IKF. And by all means, if that happens, that's the only reason why you'll be on the playoff roster. All love to IKF, but you can't just drop bombs like that. So then the entire optimism shifted, and thankfully today we get the update, and we're back in between the two. He's not going to be back after his IL stint, but I would say it is a reasonable expectation to assume he will be ready for game one. Only because if that wasn't the case, I feel like we would have already known all of this going into today. I think if he was going to be ruled out for ALDS games, I think we would already know that. So I think the rest of the regular season is actually precautionary, because I think if we needed him to be back after the IL, I actually think that was a possibility that they were considering, hence why none of this news happened until today. So I do think he'll be ready for game one, assuming there's no setbacks.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that Jays fans are probably going to hold their breath until they start hearing that he's done some baseball activities, because we all heard that he was going to get the whole week and do nothing of the sort. Now, we still haven't heard that, but like we said, there's still a couple of weeks to go to the playoffs, so we're not worrying about it right now. But if we get into that final homestand of the year, 6 games to go, and he hasn't had any progressions, then we start to worry at that point. What do you got?
Here's the other thing that people should note. If Bo Bichette's going to take the rest of the week off, and probably early next week, the minor league season is also ending at that point. So it ends on Sunday. So if Bo Bichette is going to have any baseball activities, it won't involve any rehab games. So he will be stepping back into our lineup, hopefully, without any actual rehab games. Obviously, we have the training facility in Florida that he can get his baseball activities done in there, but I just wanted to make that clear for people. There won't be any rehab games for Bo Bichette.
No, there won't be. Don't expect that. Expect a lot of day-to-days once he starts getting ready to go. And it's like, yeah, well, he's doing this. He's running from 40 feet or whatever the hell it's going to be.
Yeah.
Running the bases, get ready for when Vladdy was out. Remember that you were seeing highlights of him running around the bases. And it's like, okay, great. Now what?
Yeah, now what? So, and I don't know, and I might be talking out of my ass here, but I also believe that if he's not on the initial ALDS roster, then he has to wait until the next series. So now you can add an injured player on your roster. Obviously, you just lose the roster spot. Yes. So Bo Bichette can be added to the ALDS roster and miss games 1 and 2 and 3 and come back for game 4. That can happen. So there's plenty of ways the Jays can maneuver this, but just know I do believe if he's not on the roster, then you won't see him until the CS, and that's assuming you get there.
Yeah, and look, as a Toronto sports fan, your mindset goes to negativity pretty quickly when you start hearing stuff like this with your great player going to be on the IL, going through, God forbid, going into the postseason. Like, I know it's a dark thing to say, but it came into my mind today, and I'm like, damn, could he have had his last day be as a Blue Jay?
Like, okay.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Get out of here.
I hope I'm wrong, and I'm probably going to be wrong.
You're probably wrong.
And thank God for that.
Thank God for that.
It came into my mind today. I'm like, whoa, that's a scary thought. And I had to bring it up because I'm like, it's kind of a possibility.
I'm going to alleviate anybody else who just bought into what James said. Bo Bichette is one of the top free agents on the market this year. And unlike Vladdy, he is going to hit the free agency market. So, yes, I understand that could worry some people. But here's something that you need to know that should help with your worry. The Jays overpaid Vladdy. We all know that. And they probably overpaid him by like $100 million plus.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette might be overpaid by the Blue Jays as well. But it's only going to cost the Blue Jays $30 to $50 million to do so. Sure. So there's no reason to believe that the Jays were willing to go $100 million over the projected value for Vlad's contract a year early and also not do that for Bo Bichette. So, and not do less than that for Bo Bichette. So that's why I think you should have optimism that the Jays are going to pay Bo Bichette. And the only reason why Bo Bichette walks in the offseason is not going to come down to dollars. It is going to come down to whether or not he wants to be here or wants to be a Los Angeles Dodger, I think is honestly the simple way of putting it. So I think that we will pay him the most, but obviously there's other teams that could maybe offer him a quote-unquote better situation. So the Jays should pay Bo Bichette, and Bo Bichette should be a Blue Jay in 2026.
Last thing on that whole contract thing, so that we can get off the negative thing. Do you think, let's say he doesn't come back the rest of this season? God forbid.
Right.
Touch wood, doesn't happen. But does that affect teams in the sense of they haven't seen him play a game now since the injury? Does that affect the way teams look at him? He's had some injury past. He had a great year this year. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, he's one of the best hitters on this team, one of the best hitters on the planet.
Yeah.
But he had a couple down years. Well, he had a down year and a half with injuries involved as well. And he's getting injured here. And defensively, he's one of the worst shortstops in baseball.
He's not one of the worst. He's just not.
He's not great.
He's not good.
By no means he's not great.
No.
And we all know what's happened to his belly. He's gained a few pounds, and the running has gone down the drain. So it's gonna be a wild offseason for Bo. But I don't want to get too deep into it. But.
Yeah, unless there's setbacks, my answer is no. Every team is going. All 30 teams are going to want a shot at Bo Bichette in the offseason, assuming there's no catastrophic setbacks over the next 3 months.
Let me just preface this before we move on. We both are pretty confident he's coming back for the postseason.
Yeah,
this is just my Toronto brain going into spirals, and that's that. But let's get to, there's no negative out of this.
None.
Absolute positivity from last night's ball game. Other than playing in that garbage ballpark.
Against a garbage fucking organization.
Oh, God, everything about it just makes me want to. If they lost that game yesterday and those loud outs in that 11th inning, oh, my God, would have lost it. Anyways, Trey Yesavage, big league debut. Looked shaky in the first inning, as you'd expect. Sorry, let me rephrase that. For the first two batters,
That's it.
And then after that, my God, just when I say locked in, that's an understatement of the century. What do you think?
That, and Rob said it in the chat yesterday, was the most dominant, or one of the 3 most dominant pitching performances from a Toronto Blue Jays starting pitcher this year. And it is probably the most dominant MLB debut for a Toronto Blue Jays starting pitcher ever. Yep. Trey Yesavage, after the first 2 batters, when he gave up a run, and just so I'll even put a caveat on that. Chandler Simpson is the only player in baseball that scores from first on that play. So literally, Trey Yesavage should have gotten out of that game with 0 earned runs. Here's the other thing. Chandler Simpson, obviously a left-handed hitter, was the only left-handed hitter to reach base yesterday. 11 lefties came up to the plate. Obviously, not 11 different lefties, but 11 lefties came up to the plate. Chandler Simpson, in the first at-bat, was the only one who got on. The rest of them got mowed down.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Chandler Simpson's base hit up the middle, and all of Yandy Diaz. Maybe there's one extra walk in there. That's it.
He gave up 3 hits, 2 walks, struck out 9, franchise record for anybody who's living under a rock over the last 24 hours, and gave up that 1 run. That was Trey Yesavage over 5 innings yesterday, and he did start the 6th, but I think he gave up. That was his second single of the game, and then he got taken out, obviously. So that was coming up 3rd time through, so that makes sense. MLB debut, you're good. Going into the start, the conversation that everybody was having, including us off screen, was what is the plan for Trey Yesavage? There's only 13 games left in the season. He probably only gets to make,
Well, we'll get Cole back in a second here. Not sure what happened there. But regardless, I think I know where he's getting at. Is that there's going to be... Oh, we got you back, brother.
Back.
We got you back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I actually didn't lose connection. So, Jimmy, don't kick me out.
Oh, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy.
The conversation was like, what are we going to do with Trey Yesavage? What makes the most sense? Because is 3 starts enough for you to earn a playoff start? And a lot of us were like, that doesn't seem like enough to get me a playoff start for a rookie. But then Trey Yesavage went out there and looked like that. And then now the conversation shifted. It's like, well, is 3 enough for me to trust Trey Yesavage more than Chris Bassett on the road? Is 3 enough for me to trust Trey Yesavage more than Max Scherzer on the road? Yeah, it might be. It might be more. It might be enough for me. And I'll take the upside of a guy who literally does all the things that Max Scherzer and Chris Bassett don't do well. He does them well. What is Trey Yesavage known for? Swing and miss. What else is he known for? Not giving up barrels. What are the 2 things that Max Scherzer and Chris Bassett lack in? Well, Max Scherzer is literally one of the worst pitchers when it comes to missing barrels in all of baseball. And Chris Bassett on the road is one of the worst pitchers I've ever seen. So up until his last 2 or 3 starts. But point is, historically, Chris Bassett not a good road performer. So yeah, Trey Yesavage in the next 2 starts, assuming they're competent, 5 innings, less than 3 runs. That's all I'm asking. If he does that in his next 2 starts, yes, against non-playoff teams, but if he does that in his next 2 starts, he's given me enough. He's given me enough to trust him on the road more than I can trust Chris Bassett and Max Scherzer. Not to mention, Chris Bassett, not that he's really, he doesn't really have the stuff to be a bullpen pitcher. No. Max Scherzer, maybe. But Trey Yesavage, I need that guy starting a game. Like that, I need the guy last night starting a game. I'll tell you that. I need the guy last night starting a playoff game. So this starting rotation, and this is, I think, what will make it clearer for people. At the deadline, we said this starting rotation needs upside. It needs an ace-level upside. Then they go and get Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber obviously hasn't pitched since 2023. So by all means, you're telling me, and we can debate semantics here, but are you telling me that you have significantly more faith in Shane Bieber off of literally not pitching for an entire year in the big leagues than you do in Trey Yesavage after 3 big league starts? I would argue that they're at the same level of confidence and at the same level of upside. So it's almost like we traded for Trey Yesavage at the deadline because we needed an ace level starting pitcher. Like, that's what Trey Yesavage is. And like I said, just assuming his next 2 starts are competent, I think that's enough because we need it. We literally need it.
Yeah, and you look at some of the best pitchers in baseball, right? What do they all have? Well, they all strike out a bazillion guys. They all have swing and miss stuff. Derek Skubal, Hunter Brown, Garrett Crochet, Jacob deGrom, all these guys, massive strikeout stuff.
Yep.
Love Shane Bieber. He doesn't have that kind of stuff.
Nope.
He's much more of a soft contact guy, that kind of deal. Trey Yesavage has that punch-out stuff. You've seen it throughout the minor leagues, and for the love of God, you saw it yesterday. Look, I understand if he struck out 9 guys and they all look like they were having competitive at-bats, fine. Right. When you're flailing and looking horrendous all the time, like from that arm slot up top.
Yep, literally straight
and you're
above,
coming down on you.
Yeah.
Right? And you got the heater coming down at 95, 96, 94, wherever he's going to sit.
Yep.
Fine. But when it's in the same slot and then it dies off a cliff.
Yep.
Probably right in front of you. Good luck with that.
Yep.
That's why nobody's been able to do anything in the minor leagues against him. That's why the only thing they didn't need damage with yesterday was a fastball to Yandy Diaz that got the RBI double.
Yeah.
So that splitter is disgusting. It's got strikeout stuff, and that's why he needs to be started.
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely does. Let me ask people this, if anybody comments or whatever. What does Max Scherzer and Chris Bassett give you that guy doesn't?
Yeah.
Are you going to give me experience?
That's it.
Fine. Fair, especially with Max Scherzer. Fine. Yeah. But the stuff is diminished. It's not what it was. Whereas Trey Yesavage has got ridiculous stuff. And plus, these guys that you're going to be facing in the postseason, they would have never seen him before.
Yeah.
Never. And the home run ball, how many times have we talked about on pods? The home run ball plays in the playoffs, right? And we've talked about this pitching staff. We've talked about Jeff Hoffman. We've talked about Max Scherzer. A lot of it damage gets done. It's early home run balls. Kevin Gausman's allowed 20-odd homers. Jose Barrios is allowed homers. Trey Yesavage doesn't. Yeah. And when you're facing guys like the Yankees, for example, because you might have to play them. The way it looks right now, it's either the Yankees or the Red Sox, and holy crap, that would be something else. But you need – the Yankees strike out a ton.
Yeah.
And if he's going to, like you mentioned earlier, avoid barrels, that's what the Yankees do. They hit homers. If you're going to avoid the barrels and get a bazillion strikeouts against that team, that's the guy I want.
Yep, that's a W.
So that for me, if he continues this, right, his next 2 starts are lining up to be in Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium, and the finale will be in Toronto against these same Rays, which I think is going to tell us a lot. Second time through seeing him with getting all the information, having seen now 2 starts of information now, how is he going to do in his final start? If he goes out there in Toronto in his final start of the year and he shoves the Rays again, your hands behind your back. You just got to do it.
Right.
So,
and it looks like now there has been no confirmation. We're completely speculating because John Schneider has not spoken on whether or not he's making his next start. But you said something that I think can turn this even more positively. You said whoever they face in the postseason, Trey Yesavage is never. They have no experience against Trey Yesavage, and that's the actual benefit to him facing Tampa and Kansas City in his first 3 major league starts. That's the benefit, is that you can know walking into a postseason game, these guys have never seen. They've never seen this arm slot before. They've never seen a fastball with that much break before. They've never seen a splitter come from that arm slot before. All of these things will play into Trey Yesavage's advantage, and that's the silver lining to him not facing a playoff caliber team before the actual playoffs. Is that when you get there, they will not have seen him. So I think that is something that's very important to mention. But and I don't want to brush past this. Trey Yesavage literally has the highest arm slot in the majors. He literally has the most vertical break on his fastball in the majors. And for anybody that is unfamiliar with how that translates to, how it plays, the most vertical break in the majors means your fastball plays better than what the, radar gun says. And the radar gun for Trey Yesavage says, it's about 94, which in today's big leagues, you might be like, is that really going to be good enough to be an ace level pitcher? Right. It is if it has the most vertical break in all of baseball, which it does.
And I think I was listening to, I can't remember which podcast I was listening to. I think they were talking to Casey Candell, the Bison's manager, and they were asking about, what makes him so good and makes the fastball play up. Not only is the splitter so damn good, he hides the ball.
Yeah.
And when you're hiding the ball, and we talked about it earlier, how the fastball and the splitter come out of the exact same slot. And when you're pumping 94, 96, then you come up with the splitter at like 80 something, with that much drastic movement from that arm slot, the ball is coming from 7 feet over your head.
Yeah.
And it's ending up in the dirt. And you got to react like this, swing or not. Clearly, it's not easy to do. So it's beautiful, man. I was seeing all these stats. Twitter's been blowing up with all these ridiculous stats about like Trey Yesavage. Just like all these analytics, like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
And it's incredible. That's why you got to use them. Like, this is what frustrates me about organizations nowadays. They're like, well, you want to ease them through the organization. Then they got to have Tommy John.
Right.
And then they're gone. Innings limit. Well, that really helped, didn't it? Use the bullets when you got them.
Exactly. That's something else I want to mention, too. A comparable arm slot to Trey Yesavage is none other than Hall of Famer, one of the greatest pitchers of our generation, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, Justin Verlander, who, if you are unfamiliar, is like 40 years old and was still pitching in the big leagues and still putting up Cy Young seasons past the age of 35. What does that suggest? Good durability. That's an arm slot and fastball velocity that doesn't actually suggest he's going to get Tommy John. Like that, in today's game, that is hard to come by. You see all these guys throw 97, 98, from the, three-quarter arm slot, and you're like, yep, he's getting Tommy John at some point. Mm-hmm. This guy, it actually doesn't profile that way. No. The other thing I wanted to mention was Trey Yesavage yesterday got robbed of an immaculate inning. That is how good Trey Yesavage was yesterday. I forget what inning it was, but the first guy goes down, 3 strikes, strikes out, obviously. Second guy goes down, 3 strikes, another strikeout, 6 pitches. Then he starts the next guy with strike 1. Then he throws a fastball fully in the zone at the knees, gets called a ball. Next 2 pitches, strikes the guy out. So 3 strikeouts on 10 pitches yesterday. That should have been obviously an immaculate inning. That is how dominant he was yesterday once he got into a groove.
Funny thing is, I think he struck out, it was either 4 or 5 in a row, which you just don't do as a rookie in your big league freaking debut.
5. He struck out 5 in a row.
Oh, yeah, 5 in a row. It's a joke. Like you're going to a big league lineup on the road, regardless of what the freaking road looks like at this point with the damn Rays. And then Laz Diaz. Laz freaking... Yeah, if you're Trey Yesavage, how tempting was it to go, hey...
yeah, exactly.
Damn thing. Yeah. And he'd get tossed, and then we're like, shit. Top one.
We got to emphasize this swing and miss stuff. So in the minors this year, his Ks per 9 was 14.7, which is like literally a Aroldis Chapman closer level Ks per 9. Like that is how ridiculous it is.
Right.
He faced, I believe the number was like 390 batters he faced in the minors this year. He struck out 160 of them. He struck out almost half the players he faced in the minors this year. That is his swing and miss stuff. It literally might be the best in baseball.
Do you want to hear a crazy stat? This is again, because why not just keep going at this rate? First off, he has the most strikeouts for a Blue Jay in his big league debut ever. It says 9 punch-outs through 5. And this is crazy. Since tracking began in 2009, in his big league debut, it has the highest whiff rate on any of his pitches. So it's the highest by any Blue Jay starting pitcher, debut or otherwise, since they began tracking this in 2009. It's the highest by any starting pitcher in his big league debut, period. Minimum of 60 pitches. Yeah, what was his whiff rate? And we're not talking just the splitter. We're talking all his...
Right.
Just under 53% whiffs. Like we talk about, baseball's a game of failure, right? You get on base 30% of the time, you're incredible.
Right.
They miss the damn ball 53% of the time, let alone put it in play.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. That is
absolutely ridiculous. I saw that stat last night, and I'm like, that can't be true. But sports stats coming out with the crazy stuff.
And I'm pretty sure his whiff rate in the minors was like 57% total.
Oh, wouldn't surprise me. Now, want to hear this one?
Total over all those innings.
Since they had their, again, this is based off of that 53% whiff rate. Notable MLB debuts since 2009, right? Since they started tracking this, his was 53%.
Yeah.
The next best, Steven Strasburg at 44.
Oh my God.
Next one, Paul Skeens at 35.
Oh my God.
53. What?
Oh my God.
I don't know, man. This is the week. I mean, he needs to start a damn playoff game.
He does need to start a playoff game. Yeah, I'm sold. The difference between first, second, and third is like the difference when you're looking at WRC plus leaders and you go Aaron Judge 250, and then you go Shohei Ohtani 180, and then you're like,
yeah,
Kyle Schwarber 130. Like that. Like the difference between first, second, and third is the same gap that Trey Yesavage is in whiff rate. That is insane.
Absolutely. And I'm kind of excited to watch his next start because the Royals offense sucks. And I'm like, boy, this could be fun.
Yeah, these next two starts, assuming, again, nothing goes wrong for Trey Yesavage, they will be fun to watch. They will be a almost direct comparison to what he just did yesterday. Because, the just the profile, like the analytics will say that, that guy's supposed to dominate these teams, and he will.
Absolutely. Now, let's move on. As much as we could talk, God, we could talk Trey all day. Kind of rhyme. That was kind of goes hard. But anyways, Jimmy flipping me around now, so I don't know what's happening. But okay, he's doing it again, giving us all a head rush. Hey now, Jimmy. But let's move on because we could, like we said, we could talk about Trey Yesavage every day of the week and go through stats and arm slots and angles, and like this is just not humanly possible, but it is apparently. Let's move on to the bigger picture because there are 12 games to go in the season for the Toronto Blue Jays. Currently, they have a 5-game lead over the New York Yankees. In hindsight, it's 6 because the Jays are the tiebreaker.
Right.
The Red Sox, 6 back of the Blue Jays. We own the tiebreaker. Therefore, we're 7 games up on the Boston Red Sox. And the Tigers are 3 games back of the Blue Jays for the best record in the American League. We hold the tiebreaker there. So in hindsight, is a 4-game lead over the Tigers there. And if Jays fans also want to look at how can we just avoid a wild card series being a division leader? Seattle Mariners jumped the Houston Astros. So we have 6 less losses than the Seattle Mariners. There's only 12 to go. So if you're the Blue Jays, especially since now you've won 5 in a row, feeling pretty good, bud. Feeling pretty good.
Yeah. I also want it on record, and I'm gonna say this, and I deserve credit. For 3 weeks, we've come on this podcast, and we're going, Yankees schedule, huh?
Yeah.
Red Sox schedule, huh? They're catching up, huh? The Jays are playing 500 ball, huh? Who wasn't worried? I was never worried. The Red Sox and the Yankees are not good. They're just not that good. Like, talk to me all you want about barrel rate, Rob. Talk to me all you want about WRC plus, Rob.
Tacky boy right there.
I don't care. At the end of the day, you got to win fucking ball games, and the Jays do, and the Yankees don't. As simple as that. That is as simple as it comes in the regular season, and that is why I was never worried. The Houston Astros. What am I worried about? Jordan Alvarez is literally walking glass, and guess what? He's probably done for the regular season. He sprained his, I think, ankle or something. So he's probably done for the rest of the season.
49 minutes ago, at least on the Score app, Alvarez has, quote unquote, pretty significant ankle sprain. Timetable for return unclear.
Yeah. So the Seattle Mariners, come on. I'm not worried about the Seattle Mariners playing in the most pitcher-friendly ballpark in baseball, and they can't hit anything. Not worried. That's been my point this entire time. And the Jays, now, 3 weeks later, sit in a position that seems like it's impossible for us to lose the division. Seems like it's impossible for us to lose the AL. So, yeah, I feel pretty damn good. I wish I would have bet on it because, I was so confident that we would still have the lead at this point. And I'm just glad that the magic number's down to 4 for the playoffs. The magic number for the AL East is down to 7, I believe. And then I think the magic number for top spot in the AL is 11, 9, 9. Yeah. So yeah, I feel pretty good. And oh my God, are we so scared of the Tampa Bay Rays and the Kansas City Royals and the Tampa Bay Rays again? No, not scared. Haven't been scared. They're not playoff teams. I'm cool. We got the Red Sox. I know. Again, by that point, the division will be over. So I'm not worried.
Yeah, I mean, look, the only thing that just bugaboos me is the Rays, just in general. Like, the team stinks. Let's be honest. They absolutely blow. Other than Caminero, who just seems like he runs into one once in a while. I don't know. I'm not really impressed. I see 44 homers, and I'm like, whoa, big time. He's got like an 830 OPS, and I'm like, what?
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
home run or bust.
It feels like it. I get it. I could be wrong with that, but
you're not. I think that's objective. Like, if you go through, pull up the home run leaders. If you look at, who's in the 50s, who's in the 40s, I bet you he's last in OPS amongst them. Like, amongst
842 OPS. I mean,
yeah. Go to the home run leaders, because this is a good exercise for people listening, because there are cases where home runs disguise the entire picture. So what I want you to do is only look at the hitters who have hit 40-plus home runs. Tell me where he would rank in OPS.
I mean, is that the American League? No, all of baseball. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I was only in the American League there for a minute. All right. OPS you're talking about?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Big Dumper, 936. Kyle Schwarber, 943.
Yep.
I mean, Shohei, 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to look at Judge.
1,200 or something, yeah.
Eugenio Suarez, 822.
Okay, so there's one.
And there's Caminero. Juan Soto's got 40. We obviously know what he's all about, 921. And, okay, he's not hitting 40, but Joe Adell's got 36 bombs.
Yeah, what's his OPS?
805.
Okay, whatever. So that's my point. So amongst hitters who have hit 40 home runs this year, Caminero ranks second last in OPS. And amongst hitters that have probably hit 35 this year, he probably ranks third last. Like, that is my point. So I actually think that's a valid take. Good for you. I like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, Caminero, I don't know. I mean, Yandy Diaz, whatever. Chandler Simpson, just, I don't know, keep him off the bases. That's really it. He doesn't do anything else, really. He's a pretty pathetic fielder. I'm watching the routes to the ball, and I want to throw up.
Yeah, he's a -4.
I'm watching him yesterday try to throw at Ernie from left field, and it's rolling to home, and I'm like, okay, there's that. You can run.
Yeah, he has a -4.
Well,
I think it's as simple as that. Yeah.
So that team doesn't scare me, but it's the Rays, and it's down there in that fiasco of a ballpark.
And we saw what Joe Boyle, who has a 5 ERA and a 1.5 whip, did to us yesterday.
Right, and I was saying it right at the top of the pod. I'm like, that last night's game, it went to extras, and then the Jays hit. Was it Heineman's line drive was like a 910 expected batting average in a glove, and then the next one 850 in a glove, and I'm like, and I'm watching Yandy Diaz hit a 4-footer and get on. I'm like, yeah, no. The Rays are not going to do this. And somebody we haven't talked about yet, and let's do it right. Yeah, Braden Fisher.
Dog.
Holy smokes. Kevin Biggio. Who? My goodness.
Yeah, Braden Fisher coming in. People don't understand this. Not only did Braden Fisher come in after Jeff Hoffman in extra innings to get a 2-inning fucking save, he did so on the road. And in case you forgot, they start with a ghost runner.
Yep.
Literally, the ghost runner gives so much advantage to the home team because obviously they know what they're getting. And of course, the Jays in the first extra inning didn't score a run. So all the Rays, what?
You say the ghost runner, right?
Yeah.
The guy at third. Remember who that was? At third base?
Chandler Simpson, right?
Yeah, the fastest dude on the planet.
Yeah.
Like 90 feet away.
Yeah, twice. So twice, Braden Fisher had a guy on third with less than 2 outs.
Yeah.
And they didn't score. Didn't get squat. 2-inning save, absolute dog. Ryan, my friend on the show yesterday said he just earned himself some leverage innings. Which,
absolutely.
Of course.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, Yariel Rodriguez was up and warming, and I went to the bathroom. I'm like, all right, Yariel's in. I'm like, that's Fish.
Yeah.
What the hell is he still doing out there? And shoves. Like, oh my God. I'm really curious as to why they went out there for the second inning. Look, I worked out and he was a stud. I'm kind of shocked they pushed him 2 innings. I really am.
He, I believe, has done a reasonable amount of multi-inning appearances for us this year. And I bet you they just liked what they saw in the first inning. Like, you ride the hot hand. Like, you know that every time you pull a new guy out of that bullpen, specifically our bullpen, that you're holding your breath. So I think
the last time he threw an inning in a third was August 9th against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And from the looks of it,
he probably has like 4.
July 5th against the Angels, he went 2 innings. And before then, he had a few more.
Yeah, see?
2 against the Boston, 2 against the White Sox, 2 against Minnie.
Yeah, he was probably
going a lot of inning in the thirds here. So
he was probably going multiple innings in Buffalo.
Probably.
Yep.
Dude's a stud. I mean, we talk about strikeouts are sexy. 45 innings, 60 punches. I mean, hello.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff, buddy. It's a blast. Positive vibes all around, even smaller on the Bo Bichette front, but at least he's not confirmed out for the year. Done. Cooked.
And
so
Tony's coming back.
Yes. Fingers crossed on that. Yesavage stud. Jays are, God, they're right there. They're right there looking for the AL East crown, at least in the regular season, but champagne celebrations, can't wait for them, bud. All right. So for myself, Cole Whiston, and Jimmy behind the scenes, thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and we appreciate it. And as always, go Jays.
Go Jays.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Blue Jays Center on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.